So Alex made a point that you could use a spreadsheet in order to do some record keeping, but that doesn't mean you should use a spreadsheet to do that record keeping. And we're going to talk about why here. And the why comes down to really, it's not only just the what I call the art of the possible here with government property management systems, but it really has now come down to best practices in the way that this whole ecosystem of doing federal contracting has evolved for a number of reasons. The first reason that you're going to see, we're going to start at 12 o'clock and just go clockwise around the circle on the right-hand side, is the need for a centralized system that can be accessed from often a multitude of locations, because a lot of these contract obligations span across things that are physically housed and secured inside a facility, as well as requirements to be able to go out in the field and use inventory or use physical assets as they might be required in different areas. So how are you in fact gathering and capturing information and making sure that it's all going back into a centralized location with all the transactions in the audit trail being captured about what's going on with that property? Now, that all that being said, that's, you know, a certain tall order there, but on top of it, you have to keep it secure because of the need to make sure, you know, nobody can avoid this security obligation today inside this environment. And with this whole CMMC movement and the need for managing controlled unclassified information and even ITAR in some cases, all of this relates back to how do you keep that data secure and accessible back out to these remote environments, wherever they may be. So accessibility is another one where if you're doing record keeping and you're looking to try and make it as efficient as you can be without going out and taking a clipboard and pieces of paper or a folder and trying to write things down and then turning back around and going back to your computer and entering it in, like those days are gone. There's so many devices now that can enable you to capture information right where it needs to be captured. Yes, the desktop and laptop can enable this, but really we're talking about smartphones and the use of tablets or more industrial touch computers that you can take and walk out to these areas, whether it's the warehouse or whether it's somewhere in the field, to update accordingly. The other part of it is really what's near and dear to us at A2B Tracking, and that is to talk about automation. And you'll hear that theme come up multiple times here, because automation is where it enables you to do your job well beyond where the spreadsheet can help you, and getting into areas where you're exchanging data in a fluid, automated way with a level of accuracy that you need. And you can also connect the physical world of where your property and your inventory matches the record keeping that you need to do. So we talk about automation where we refer to auto ID technologies. When we talk in a moment about identification, we'll explore the different auto ID technologies such as barcode and RFID. And then we talk about the ability to get data to where it needs to go, which is your customers are so hungry for accurate data. And the reason they are is because, in particular, the Pentagon has got this clean audit opinion that they're trying to achieve. So getting data exchange with these growing systems such as PI and of course all the underneath the platforms of wide area workflow, the GFP module and the IUID registry, where there's connections going directly through to those systems, and then PCARs where you can still provide a file upload, but in a much more automated approach. And then the last thing for automation we're going to hone in on here is the integrated nature of where this data that you're getting as you explore these processes, these obligations that you're under that Alex is going to get into, where are you getting that data coming from? And we're going to talk about receiving in items, how you can be more efficient as you go. But here we have that the basic tenets of what a modern government property management system should be. And this is just not a future notion. There are many organizations that are doing it with this much advanced anticipation and trying to get it as efficient as they can. So with that being said, the next slide really just helps give you a little bit of a snapshot picture of what we're talking about. And this is where auto ID technology comes into play, where you can put sensors in. And with one of our partners, Zebra Technologies, who's some of the best in the business with both barcode and RFID style handheld devices and physical sensors that can be placed throughout facilities. And as you can see, we're not just talking about the warehouse these days. We're talking about office areas, engineering laboratories. We're talking about manufacturing and production areas where you can put fixed readers, but also you can use mobility with barcode and RFID. And I'm going to give a little bit of credit back to Alex here in his diagram before. In the bottom right corner, we do have autonomous robots doing automation these days, again, with our partner Zebra Technologies and Fetch Robotics. So there's a multitude we'll talk about, but we'll get into how does this layer into the existing obligation for these outcomes that you're striving for. And